Okay, this learning goal, we're going to be looking at integers on a number line. First of all, we need to know what is an integer. An integer is a whole number, like 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on. It can also go below 0, as in -1, -2, -3, and so on. What is not an integer is if we have a fractional part. That is not an integer. Or if we have a decimal part like this, that is not an integer. Just whole numbers, positive and negative, including 0. Next, we need to know what is a number line. Number lines are pretty straightforward. Number lines usually consist of a line with these equal dash marks going either side, and usually a number line has a 0. In this case, the number line goes towards the positive side, all the whole numbers, and also comes down this end to the negative side. Okay, there are a number of different types of number lines, and you might wonder, why do we need them? Let's look further down. Here's another type of number line. In this case, the number line has our 0 in the middle here, and there are equal dashes apart. You'll see this one has a bigger dash, and it also has a smaller dash in between. The bigger dash represents the whole number. 1, 2, 3, this one here, 4, and this one here, 5. It also goes below the bigger dash, -1, -2, -3, -4, and -5, and so on. The smaller dash that I was pointing out is obviously halfway in between the whole number. In this case, so the smaller dash there would be 0.5 because it's between the 0 and the 1. And on this side, it will be -0.5 because it's between the 0 and the 1. So that small dash there. Okay, and so on. So in between the 2 and the 3, that small dash is going to be 2.5. So down here, we come down to the negative side. We've got our 10. Obviously, the big dash here would be -9. The small dash in between would be -9.5, between the 9 and the 10. Okay, now as I was saying before, why do we need number lines? So there's a number of reasons why we could use number lines. Here's one on a vertical page here. So number lines can be used for a number of things. They can be used to measure height. They can be used to measure temperature. They can be used, positive and negative numbers can be used maybe to show your bank balance. Hopefully you never get in the negatives for your bank balance. Okay, so on this number line here, so we could have this one either as a temperature scale or to measure heights. How do we measure heights? Well, obviously the 0 here in the middle, that would be at the ocean level. That's 0. So we might have a bird flying up here. He would be approximately at that tally mark, that dash there on the number line, which would be 1, 2, 3, 4. So he would be at approximately 4 meters if this number line was in meters. Below the sea level, we might have maybe a fish. Oh, it's an ugly fish, but he's happy. Okay, and he would also be approximately swimming at this dash here, which would be 1, 2, -3 meters. So yeah, we're using below sea levels in negative and above sea levels in a positive number. Okay, think about where else we might use positive and negative numbers on a number line.